Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is Mark Goldhart.
What's up?
Mr. Co-host. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. In the heat of summer here in Utah?
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot around the country right now. Some heat waves going around.
Yeah.
We're going to get a possible record high
Yeah.
in the Salt Lake Valley.
Last week it was like 80s, which is really nice for Utah. Like low 80s is
Low 80s.
a blessing in Utah.
I think they said it might hit 107 this week.
Well, I was looking at it, at least by my house. It's always a little cooler by my house because I think I'm a little higher.
Well, you're
up.
Utah Valley too.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the...
My house was saying like 101 degrees on Friday.
Yeah, my house is similar elevation.
I think over here it's like going to be more like 103, 104 is what I saw.
Yeah, my house is similar elevation. I think it's 102.
Uh-huh.
But down at like the center of the valley, I think they said it could get up to 107.
Really? Which is very hot for Utah.
It's scorching.
And I happen to be playing in like I'm playing in an all-day tournament on Friday and on Saturday. Tennis tournament. And they're outdoors tournaments.
Ugh.
And those are supposed to be the two hottest days. I luckily got to buy my first round. So I should have started at like 1 on Friday, but I don't play till 6 on Friday, which is nice.
I actually think that's worse.
Well, you're right. The hottest temperature is usually what, like 4 or 5?
I think 6 is like the peak of it because you get that west.
Yeah. But in tennis, what's nice is I'd rather play in 2 or 3 degree hotter weather versus the sun being like the 4 or 5 o'clock sun when you're like serving a ball.
Are tennis courts typically north-south though?
Yeah, north to south is really hard.
Oh, yeah, because
on the north side, because you're looking.
We're a little
like
bit in the northern hemisphere, so yeah.
So I prefer 6 because that sun will be like slightly setting a little bit more, so the ball doesn't go like literally the ball goes directly into the sunlight for me. So
yes, the temperature peaks at 4 to 5, and then 6 o'clock tends to be about 3-4 degrees hotter than 1 o'clock, so it will be hotter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm happy because I got to buy. I don't have to play at 1 o'clock
with the sun
glare, sun, and then again at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah,
because most people are playing twice a day, 2 times on Friday.
Yuck.
So I got lucky.
I think I might just go to the mountains, man. I might not be around for that. Go up to where it's like 75.
Yeah.
Escape.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Not a bad idea. Right,
but
man.
4th of July was great. Fireworks.
Right. Yeah.
No wildfires around here yet.
Yeah, we haven't heard of any wildfires.
Not yet. I mean, they'll happen.
Yeah. You know what we did?
Just a matter of time.
What we've done the last like 2 or 3 years for the 4th of July is, for those of you who know Utah, and for those of you who don't know Utah, like the Utah landscape, Utah is it's like a bowl, and it's surrounded just by mountains.
That's called a valley.
Valley, yeah, yeah. I know it's called a valley, but someone from Kansas, do they know what like that? Can they picture what that valley looks like? You know, so it's just like a bowl of mountains, right? Valley, according to Mark, and there's this in a valley. There's Salt Lake County and Utah County, and there's what we call the point of the mountain, and the point of the mountain is like what like almost like a divider between the bowl, but this doesn't go all the way. Like it doesn't cut the bowl in half.
Yeah, it's just one giant bowl.
Yeah, and so we've been going to the point of the mountain at the top of the mountain. There's a city called Suncrest, and the last 3 years that's where we go for the 4th of July. So we sit up there, and we overlook the Utah County side, and we watch the fireworks in the whole valley. So we
you like the overlook?
Yeah, so we haven't been like lighting our own fireworks or doing our own fireworks show. We've been going. We started doing that because where I live, that you can't light fireworks. Like you can't light aerial fireworks. So now you can because it's a little greener and less dry. But now
I'm much more of I want to light off my own fireworks.
I typically was, but dude, like you just go get some treats, like get some snacks,
some treatsies,
and blankets, and the kids play. There's like a park at the top of this place.
Yeah,
the kids just play, and you just sit and watch. And then we had like a speaker, played some music, some American music, you know.
Toby Keith.
Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA.
Some Brucey.
Bruce. And
some John
and
Mellencamp.
you get everything. We saw the you've heard about the whole what happened over at Stadium of Fire, BYU, the fireworks that hit people in the face.
Oh yeah, we got to get a little clip of that.
Yeah.
Pop.
I
mean, one hit one of the band members and another one into the stands.
Like 6 people that went
yeah,
to the
that was
hospital,
crazy.
2 people that got like actually injured.
It's incredible.
But we saw that it happened right when there was, I can't remember what planes, like what jets fly over. I feel like you should know this.
I mean, it's probably F-16s or F-35s.
Yeah.
No, F-35s from.
I think they're F-16s.
Nah.
Is what I thought I read.
Really?
I think so. Anyways,
I thought Hill Air
one of
Force
the
Base
Fs.
only has 35s now, but
maybe
I could be wrong.
It's one of the Fs. But what was cool
One of the F words.
What was cool is the F-35s or 16s flew like what seemed like 100 yards over our head because they flew over that mountain from
and then went over
Hill Air Force,
Suncrest.
went right over us. So it was like super shocking. So it was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So you should give it a shot,
Well,
the aerial view.
God bless America.
God bless America. That's right.
That's where we are. Okay, let's talk about what are we seeing out there in the e-commerce landscape? Something that we keep running into as we've been consulting with brands is, and we thought we'd bring it up in the pod. Maybe this is useful, maybe it's not. We think it's useful though.
Yeah, if we're hearing something over and over again from clients or people we consult with or people who are using Bestie, like we generally like, hey, that should be a something we should address on the podcast. Because if we're hearing it here, most likely all of you are experiencing it, or a big portion of you are experiencing it.
Precisely. And that is, what is a funnel? And more precisely is a lot of people have asked us questions about, hey, what should top funnel efforts look like? Or what are bottom funnel efforts and middle of the funnel? And I guess first and foremost, like is the funnel outdated?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think
because the funnel, some people claim the funnel comes from this idea that you could track people down the funnel. That is not actually where the funnel comes from. It's not, you could literally track. It was just an ideation of where people are in the journal.
More of a journey.
Yes,
not
a journal.
Yes.
A journey.
Journal entry.
Kind of burped there.
Yeah.
Pulled a Joe Biden.
Yeah, it was more of a journey. The customer journey represented the funnel.
Yes.
Right. And it started really more so in like B2B, the B2B space.
Yes, because you would assume that people didn't have quite as long of a journey. Right, because you'd have like a top of funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and then you'd have like what are called marketing qualified leads and
sales qualified
leads and
yeah, all that crap.
That's in the B2B space.
Yes.
You don't really have all of that.
Yeah, and why don't you have all that in this world?
Well, typically sales cycles are not as long. Right. You don't have a sales rep engaging with someone after they've left the marketing touch points.
Right.
Or, they never truly leave the marketing touch points.
And generally, just to clarify what Mark's saying.
But you do have marketing qualified leads. That's just your email list of people who haven't bought.
Exactly, yeah. But what Mark's saying is like your buying cycle is significantly less in the e-commerce space, which is obviously what we talk about on this podcast is the D2C space. And usually your customer journey and how long you take to get from the top to the bottom to a purchase oftentimes heavily relates to price point of products.
Correct.
Meaning if this hat costs $30, it's a lot easier for me to just like spend it and be okay with it and not have to get permission from my wife or consult all my friends to see what hats they've bought.
But if you're buying a $4,000 motorcycle,
or a couch that was $6,000,
you're not going to just jump on that. Yeah.
Right. You're going to go to several different lots.
Or there's even like more, even though they're not that high of price points, but like once you get into the $200 to $300 range, a lot of times those items are things that you don't need all the time. So you might wait. Like I already have a golf bag.
Yeah.
Or like, I've already got a really nice backpack or my luggage
Sure, or a tent.
Like
or
you're not
something
buying
like that.
luggage just because you feel like it. Like
Right.
usually that's more of a needs-based purchase. And yes, you're going to get the one you like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people aren't just like, oh, I'll buy like $500 of luggage, even though I don't go anywhere.
Right.
And a lot of people already have luggage, so how worn out is it? There's going to be a little bit more thought process to that purchase.
Totally.
In our opinion.
Yep.
And in the data.
Yeah. I also think funnels, or the idea of funnels or customer journeys, become a little bit more important based off of maybe problem solution products as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because oftentimes problem solution products not require, but people are just generally doing research, right?
Correct.
Like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of my acne. That's a problem, and so you're just doing so much research. And so I think I think the biggest takeaway is like, it's not really a funnel. It's the journey. I think that's like one thing that we have to just like understand. It's like to be able to capsulize a journey, a funnel is like, in the e-commerce space, it's really hard to do. But to understand
it's hard to do, but I still think it's a good visual of just understanding where people are. That doesn't mean that you're literally pushing people down the funnel.
Right, but that's the problem with the funnels. People, I think that
they're like, I'm literally dictating where people are.
Funnel. Where you can do that more on the B2B sales, on those higher things, because you're on the phone call with those people, you're sending the emails, you're doing those things.
You have a person engaging
with
them,
kind of checking the boxes. Whereas in the e-commerce space, 99% of the time, you're never speaking to that person ever.
Correct, and especially because a lot of retargeting pixels and whatever have gone out the window. Yeah, but I think it's good to understand that some people are in the unaware stage and unaware of
their customer journey.
Yeah, so if your customers, you have potential customers out there who are unaware of who you are or what problem you're solving. And maybe both.
Yes. And there's two different things with unaware, right? There's either unaware of you, the brand, the product, or unaware of the problem that they need solved.
Correct.
Right? There's kind of two different versions of this. Right?
Yes.
Because some people get so caught up in, I need to create so much awareness at the top of the funnel. Let's take I don't know why I'm on skincare right now, but I just got served a couple ads for it, and I don't know why. But let's take skincare for a second.
Okay, let's take it.
For skincare, I don't think there is like, people will think, hey, if I need to get some awareness, I need to get the message of my brand and the problems out there more frequently.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, you actually don't need to really do that, because people, like, there are so many brands and there are so many people who are already creating content and videos, and there are so many content creators who aren't selling products who are talking about their skincare routines. Like, they're already doing the top of funnel awareness. Now all you need to do is infiltrate as to why you're the solution for the things that they're researching and that. So it's like, it changes this like dynamic of, let me tell you about problems, to, no, let me just start like giving you solutions, because people are already searching all that up here.
Right.
They're already in aisle. They just need to see me.
Well, because skincare is an interesting one, because again, it goes back to, are they aware, unaware of what you're solving? So if you're a skincare company and you're solving, I don't know, let's just say acne. How many people are unaware that they have acne or not?
Not many.
Not many,
you
right?
Look in the mirror. Yeah.
So they're just unaware maybe of who you are.
Right.
And how you accomplish it.
Yep.
But they're already in the itch stage. Like they have an itch.
Yep.
They're looking on a way of how they can get it scratched, but they know it's there.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Do I have acne?
And if you want to flip it to a different product, let's take just women's clothing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, either you're a woman who cares about fashion or you're not. Either you're a woman who cares about functionality or you're not, right? And so those are things you're just already searching for. And so if you're selling women's dresses, sundresses, for example, it's not that you need to create awareness around why a sundress could be cool. You just need to get in front of the people who are going to want that.
Yeah, and that might be, you just need to create awareness around that you carry whatever sizing that's hard to find for people.
Sure.
Maybe you're an inclusive brand and you have small to 2XL or 3XL or 4XL or whatever it is. And you need to create awareness that you can solve that and that you're going to be able to service those people.
Totally.
But again, like those people might be unaware of who you are or they're not, but you still need to sell in that process. And so I think the biggest misconception is there's a lot of people out there thinking that top funnel is this, like, I'm just going to spend a lot of money on certain kinds of videos. And depending on where you are as a brand, that might be the right choice. Sure. But a lot of lower brands in the 1 to 15, 20 million a year space, I think, spend a lot of money on that stuff and thinking that they're going to garner X amount of traffic or video views.
Totally.
And it doesn't retarget in the way that they think, because different people will engage with videos for video views on Meta and link clicks that are actually looking to purchase.
Totally. I'm trying to find we had Alex MacArthur on our podcast, and he said something that was very interesting. I can't remember if I posted the clip or not. I'm trying to find it. But remember, he says something. He had this saying, and it was,
well, it's search follows intent, I think.
No, that's not what it is. It's something follows search.
Sales. It's sales follows search.
Sales follow search. Yes, that's what it is. Sales follow search. So like,
yeah,
which is kind of somewhat going against some of the things that we're saying right now.
I don't think so.
In a way.
Yeah, I don't think so, and we can say that.
Right? Because what he's saying is like, hey, listen, if I can get my brand name more frequently out there and what we do, then eventually people will start searching for us.
Which is true.
Which is absolutely true, But there are some brands, dependent upon the stage that they're in, that they don't even have to make that step yet, because they're not just scraping what's just sitting there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're not disagreeing with what he's saying. We're just saying that dependent upon the level and what you are currently or not currently doing, there are maybe more economical solutions.
Yeah, but another way of saying that is, in Meta, you have different optimization settings. So in Facebook marketing, you can optimize based off of a purchase or a sale. You can optimize based off of a click, a link click. You can optimize off of a video view of X amount of time, or a through play, which is 15 seconds, or video completion if the video is less than 15 seconds. So you can optimize off of all of those things, and we're not saying you can't do any of those top funnel efforts. Sure. But what we are saying is that in prospecting, which is what we usually define as optimizing off of a purchase event, you are still going to be doing top of funnel efforts and retargeting efforts in there.
Sure.
And the way to differentiate between those two efforts within a prospecting campaign, which should usually take up the bulk of your budget.
Yep.
Right? I think that's the problem, is people think about this as all even.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we've audited accounts or helped companies kind of clean up their accounts, it's not all equal, because you're still getting some of those efforts in a prospecting conversion campaign. So how do you differentiate in a prospecting sales-based optimized campaign for top funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel? And that's usually identifying where they are in their customer journey and addressing that in the ad.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's going to be through your creative.
Yeah.
And through that creative, you might not, like, top funnel ads might not have great, quote, ROAS.
Right.
But like what Alex said, you can still look at your search volume on your direct traffic, right? And on branded traffic, and on certain keywords that might be really closely related to your brand. Like maybe someone saw your skincare brand, you're solving acne, you have a special coconut cream oil,
Right.
right? Well, if somebody's searching coconut cream oil acne solution,
Yep.
and that's pretty unique to you, like that's not necessarily non-brand either.
Right.
It's kind of in between like your branded terms and non-brand terms.
Sure. Yep.
But you can track all that, and if you're seeing measurable increase in that kind of traffic,
Yep. Then you know sales are going to follow.
Then you know sales are going to follow that.
Yep. Totally.
And the same goes for top funnel efforts. But that's where people miss out is they think, hey, I'm just going to run these quote top funnel efforts in Meta, which are link or views or whatever, without any optimized goal of a purchase. But they're not measuring what is the increase of my conversion based campaigns or my search volume or anything else. Like, are you actually seeing intent?
Right.
From that top funnel effort of people who are unaware of you, because that's kind of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But again, we think that top funnel has evolved, right? That used to be a lot of SEO is kind of top funnel, bottom funnel, but there's a lot of SEO, right? There was a lot of like outreach with like video campaigns, but we think it's really evolved into a different kind of strategy altogether, because the funnel has, even though it's still, yes, it's there, it's more of like where somebody is in their journey, and that journey goes back and forth. It's not that someone's always ready to buy.
Yeah.
Someone might be ready to buy this week who's not ready to buy next week because they've changed their mind, or they're just not, that itch isn't really as strong as it was the day before.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's super important to, we keep saying this, is like what you really need to figure out is that, like, how do you identify where they're at within their journey? And I think if we go back to maybe 2 podcasts ago, we talked a lot about like customer insights through surveying. And I want to share an example I shared last time, which was we worked with a brand in the like e-moto e-bike space.
Right.
And they were trying to understand their funnel. They were trying to understand the customer journey. And they asked, I think, 3 or 4 questions. And one question was, how did you first hear about e-moto, or how did you first hear about e-bikes? So not even like, how did you first hear about our brand name? I don't even care about when you heard about us right now. I just want to know how you're hearing about this. And they, like, the 2 big responses were, we're seeing it on social media. So people are posting like, hey, check out how cool this is. Check out how I'm riding this, whatever. Or I'm seeing it in like the wild. I'm at the park and I see somebody riding it. I'm on a trail, wherever I'm seeing people.
Yeah.
Right? So like that is the top of funnel, right? That like that. So social media and in person, like that's how people are discovering what e-moto is all about. So as you figure that first step out, it's like, okay, cool. What do we do? Like what does top of funnel mean for us? Okay, we can't really control. The only way we control,
you can impact bikes on the trail by selling more
bikes. Yeah. So like, okay, so we have
there's a little bit of a chicken and the egg there.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to figure out how to sell more bikes. Okay. So we can't quite address that one yet. So what's the other thing? Okay. Social media. So how do we own social media a little bit more? We can run more paid ads. We can build our organic strategy, which is a huge one.
And so this is what we call the awareness stage.
Yep.
And then there's,
how do we make people aware that these bikes exist?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you're going to get to the consideration and research phase.
Yep. So organic content creation, paid ads is going to do the same thing, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because for this kind of purchase, you're talking about thousands of dollars. So one paid ad generally isn't going to sell a bike. So I think you can also identify whether it's organic or paid. That is a very top of funnel piece, can be very top of funnel. I think the third thing for top of funnel is, if people are seeing this on social media, how do you infiltrate a affiliate, ambassador, influencer network of more and more people showcasing that product?
Yes.
Right? Because once again, people find out and discover you through social media. Okay. So we have just officially accomplished what the top of funnel for this type of brand looks like and what your efforts can be. Okay. And that can be on any social media channel, by the way, whether it's TikTok or Meta or whatever. So then the next question was, okay, once you've discovered us or discovered this product exists, where do you go next to do your research if you should buy something. Like if you want to buy, where are you going? Like, so what is your next step? Okay, I saw this dude writing.
So again, we're moving into from awareness,
hey, this exists, to
consideration and research.
Oh, I might be interested in buying this.
And consideration and research, the reason why we like to look at those together is because there's not a lot of research involved with certain products.
Sure.
Like they're considering you, and if they like you, right? If it's resonating, and then you're gonna have to look at like what's your brand, what's the feel, whatever. But you don't need a lot of research. But in this case, there's going to be more research. So consideration research
is much bigger. Yeah.
The research phase is going to be much longer. And so people here decided, or not decided, but where did they go?
They discovered that it was like 65% of people who responded was YouTube. The other 30 was Google. And so they were like, okay, cool. Is there a gap in our consideration piece of the funnel customer journey? What they discovered was Google. No. Google, they were really, really dialed. Not really doing much on the SEO side, but they were nailing on the paid side of things any sort of search for e-moto, e-bike kind of stuff. They're showing up. Okay. But they weren't doing anything with YouTube.
Right.
So now what they've discovered is like, okay, cool. For a lot of people, YouTube is the awareness. Like you ask a lot of brands, and a lot of brands who run paid ads for YouTube is very much an awareness strategy.
Correct.
But for these
not
guys,
a research.
For these guys, no, this is middle. Like this is consideration, middle to bottom for us. So how do we build a channel and invest in getting people to like subscribe? And they did something that was really, really cool. Like these bikes are $4,000, $5,000. And they did this massive like campaign, this giveaway campaign that was like, we're going to give away 2 or 3 of these bikes. So it was like 12 grand worth of bikes if they hit 10,000 subscribers. And they just went hard at it for like 30 days and got 10,000 subscribers, gave away 3 bikes, and their channel just flourished like crazy, you know? So now added some ad spend to it as well.
Well, and the ad strategy was, hey, we need to make sure that we are showing up for these types of research terms.
Yep.
In YouTube,
Google, right?
Yeah, same thing you do with Google, but in YouTube, make sure you're appearing, make sure that you're showing people that like, hey, you're experts on this and you're leading them into the right decision.
Exactly.
Because, you know, if somebody's going to spend $4,000, $5,000, up to $10,000 on these things, they don't want to make the wrong decision.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
So now you're the expert, you're guiding them through, you've established trust.
Yep.
And then people search for you, right? And this is where sales follow search.
Yep. And
so after the research phase, they're searching for you.
Yep. And now what are you doing to buy? And it was all Google.
Yep.
We're buying through Google. You know, we're not generally buying through an ad. We're buying, like a meta ad or a TikTok ad. We're buying through Google. And so it's just like, okay, cool.
And this 3X their sales, literally.
Double down on it, right?
Yep.
So they double down on it, and now they're hitting every stage of this funnel. Now, there's obviously more things that they can and should do, right? Like, once again, I would say, you know, that top of funnel piece that I don't know if they're doing this as much is like, how do we create that affiliate ambassador network to make more and more people aware? How do we increase the output of YouTube videos that we're, you know, rather than, I don't know what, let's say they're doing one every other week. How do we do once a week? You know, so that they're infiltrating every single type of question that can be asked about that.
Yes.
Right? Like I follow this guy, and I'm super into tennis right now, and I follow this guy who he coached Serena Williams. He's coached like the best tennis players in the world. His name's Patrick. I can't pronounce his last name because he's French. But he's got
Bonjour.
He's got every video in YouTube known to man about any type of question you could ask about a forehand. So it's like you could think, all I need is to create one video, how to hit a forehand, you know? But he's got a video of like how to hit a forehand if you're right eye dominant, how to hit a forehand if you're left eye dominant, how to hit a forehand when you're returning a serve. So it's like every kind of question, he's made sure that he is answering it in every type of way with a video.
Wow.
Right. And now, not only does that, you know, that's going to help on an SEO perspective, from an SEO perspective, but also just like he shows up for anything now. Like you type anything in, like
Well, and
why he's there.
And that's what we want to get to is in this top funnel effort, which you're still going to consider, like this consideration research phase, like is still, not technically all the way at the top funnel that some brands might consider, but it's basically top funnel.
Right.
Right. If somebody's in that phase, how do you reach them? Like, you got to find out where they are in that stage for one. And then for two, we think going forward, and it's been like this for a couple of years, we've talked about this a bunch of times, is you need to be doing content and have a face of a brand and be really engaging with people at that stage.
Totally.
So that you can become a trusted source and that you can become relatable.
Yeah.
And that people want to buy from you.
Totally.
When they start going down the funnel.
A brand that's a really good example of...
Because it goes backwards too. I just want to make this point. Like you might be doing prospecting ads, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel type stuff, trying to get people in that consideration stage, in that ready to buy stage. But they're going to go to your page and try to figure out, hey, is this a trustworthy source? Mm-hmm. And what are they going to look at? They're going to watch your videos, right? They're going to go down and see what kind of content you're making. Yeah. And if you're not addressing these, because they're kind of going backwards.
It's kind of like mixed, right?
Yeah, like they're ready to buy, but now I need to consider and research. Yeah. So are you addressing those things on your social channels and in your YouTube?
It's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that an example of a brand that's doing this really well, and we talk about them all the time, so this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody here, but there's a brand called Midday Squares, which their tagline, I believe, is like, we sell functional chocolate. Mm-hmm. And what they mean by that is like healthier chocolate. That tastes like chocolate. It's not like healthier chocolate that's only dates and all you can taste is dates with a little bit of like cacao powder, right?
Right.
And so what was interesting is like how I discovered Midday Squares was I was not in the market for a new chocolate personally. Like that was not like something I was like, I need a healthier sweet. I'm somebody who generally is a little more conscious about the food that I put in my body. So I'll read an ingredient. And my favorite chocolate at the time was like, you've tried Justin's, right? Like Justin's peanut butter cups were like my favorite things. But I started following these guys just because they created entertaining content. And it wasn't entertaining from just like a funny perspective. It was entertaining from a business perspective. It was entertaining. They had some funny stuff.
Educational.
There were shocking things that they would say and do, right? They did this whole bit on like how some porn site took over their like a URL that was very similar to Midday Squares. So it was like middaysquare.com rather than middaysquares.com or something.
And people were going to it. And
so yeah, all these people are typing in Midday Square and it's this porno site, and how they had to like fight tooth and nail to get that domain so that
it's crazy.
So just stories like that. Anyways, so I followed these guys probably a year before I ever bought from them, and so that was very top of funnel for me. Like I'm not in the market. I don't know I want it, but I'm following these guys long enough. And all of a sudden, I for whatever reason, I think what happened is I saw them at Target. I didn't even buy it online first. I just saw one at Target. And these are expensive. They're like $3 a bar. And you're talking like, they're like that big.
Yeah, they're not very big.
Not big. $3 for that is, you're an idiot if you think about it. Like, whereas a Hershey's chocolate that's big is 99 cents, right? So I buy it and I love it. And now my wife and I buy them all the time. So that's awareness, right? Like it started. So this organic content piece is this like, it's this insurance policy that helps you get to more eyeballs without the spend that a meta requires from a paid perspective. Now, it's going to cost you time and it might cost you money too to hire the right creator or editor or whatever, right? Yeah, there's definitely cost to it. But if you do it right, the amount of eyeballs you can get to fill your funnel or your customer journey is huge. But I like what you said too, right? Is like somebody could see an ad. So for somebody who like, let's say your consideration window is a week,
they can see an ad, hey, buy this.
They can see an ad, and instead of clicking to go to the website, what do? They click to go to their profile on Meta or TikTok or whatever,
Yep.
and you view their videos and you start to learn more about their product, or you start to learn more about the founders, and you're like, okay, cool. I was in the mood. I needed pants, and I can get these kinds of pants probably from 10 different brands that I like, but
what are people saying about them?
these guys are articulating
And who are these
who
people?
they are, what their mission is, so much better than anyone else. So I'm going to buy from them.
Yeah, and that's why the funnel might be outdated, is because if you're not thinking about this as just simply people going back and forth, it's not a linear progression.
Totally.
And I think that's the problem. Is it's not a waterfall. It's not, hey, someone is here, then they're going to be here, then they're going to be there.
Yeah.
It's, hey, people are moving back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
And it could be life circumstances. It could have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Right? It could be, hey, I'm ready to buy a TV, but 2 days later, I'm talking with my wife and she says, we don't need a TV.
Yeah. Or, hey, go check out this brand first.
Or go check out this brand. Or I want a foot massager. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like those consideration windows, like if you're not capturing someone in the moment when they're ready to buy, super important to be doing that, right? But also be important that part of that is like they might be ready to buy, but then they just want to feel comfortable buying.
Right. They need a little more validation.
Which might just be
maybe they need another paycheck.
Yeah.
Whatever
Which could be their research phase. Okay, now I need to research. Like, who are these people? Oh, I like them.
Yep.
I like what they're doing. I like the content. It's answering my questions. It's building trust.
Yeah.
Right. So again, back to this like top funnel, like we get this all the time. How much should we be doing in a top funnel? Well, first of all, figure out if your top funnel's working.
From an ad spend perspective.
Yeah.
Way, just to clarify. Yeah.
Figure out if your top funnel's working. You can do that by looking at your search.
Yep.
Is it giving you any measurable impact across search or other campaigns? Yeah. If it's not, well, double down on this organic approach. Figure out where your people are in this awareness, consideration, research phase. Where are they? What channels are they in? Invest in content on answering those questions and solving those problems in creative and fun ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I realize we're kind of like, I feel like a lot of these podcast episodes, we circle back and always like end with, it's all about your content, like it just tends to be the heart and soul of a brand outside of their product, obviously, is what kind of content, how are they getting people's attention? And I think there's a lot of people out there who are really scared of content creation, new age content creation, right? 2022 and above, 2021 and above content creation. Because most brands started, like, I know there's a lot of Gen Z brands out there, but if you were to look at the e-commerce landscape, and let's just say there were 10,000 brands that existed, the majority of those are going to be probably more millennials, more millennial-based brands.
Yeah.
Right? Because they've been around longer. It was easier to start a business in 2016. Well, it was easier to succeed with a business in 2016.
It's a hot take, but true.
Right? Versus maybe right now. So I think a lot of millennials are very scared of what content creation is in new age today, which is faces in front of cameras. And a lot of Gen Z brands that start, like, they know that that's just like, I grew up seeing that. I'm significantly more comfortable showing my face and talking to a camera than a lot of millennials are. And so there's a company out there. We work with these guys called Creator X, and they're an awesome solution where they can help identify a face to the brand for you, proven content creators who can come in and not be your social media manager. I want to distinguish this. Like, there are two very different things between a content creator.
Yeah, they're content
and a social media manager, right?
Creators that are the face of your brand.
Your social media managers are people who are responding to DMs, who are answering comments, who are scheduling posts, right?
Might even be, coordinating with affiliates and ambassadors. And
perhaps. Yep, exactly. I'm talking about somebody who's going to actually create the content, potentially edit it and post it. Maybe they're sending it over to a social media manager if you have that kind of budget to have two, or multiple people in that process. But I'm talking about the person who is going to talk, say, hey, I'm going to tell a story and blah, 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 blah. And these guys do an awesome job. JT Barnett is the founder of that company, and they do a great job. They have this unreal network of creators that they can say, hey, like if you're struggling, that's okay. Let me go get Mark. He can help you. Like he can be the face of your brand, and this is why you want him. You know, they do a really good job. So just a quick shout out for those guys. So it's not impossible. Like,
yeah, like maybe you're not the guy or girl to be the face of the brand. That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be it.
Yeah.
But you do need someone in that position now. Like it's like not having a website at this point.
Yeah. And we, just to also clarify, like, and I think JT would say the same thing, like, we think you should be. Like, if you can.
Best case scenario, yes, it's you as a founder.
Yeah, because one, you're going to save money, and two, like, it's your brand. You're going to identify significantly more than a random creator.
But there's a solution out there that can actually even perform better at times. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially if they're better at telling stories
than
you might be. Yeah.
Which can alleviate a lot of stress. Because we know that's a huge stress point for a lot of founders is it's hard being a founder, man. Like you got a lot to do and you got to dance on TikTok now. Like,
yeah.
Not literally.
Yeah, and that is what most people do. Like a lot of founders are thinking,
yes.
like, well, I can't dance and do
Which
trends.
isn't
and it's like,
true.
No. That's not what we're talking about here.
It's not true. You don't have to go dance, but that's how it feels.
Yes.
And so, hey, if you don't have the time, if you're busy, there are solutions out there that can help you.
Yeah, totally agree.
So
else?
I guess that's
TLDR?
TLDR.
TLDR is
tofu. The funnel is a little outdated.
Tofu, mofu, bofu doesn't quite really exist.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what bofu is can be what tofu is.
Yes.
Right? We just talked about that. Organic is an amazing awareness piece, but it's also that validation piece that happens here. You know? Same thing with an affiliate stuff. Like affiliate ambassador stuff can be very, very important for an awareness.
And for driving people to buy.
But we've also found that like sometimes a piece of UGC or somebody talking about how good a brand is as an ad performs significantly better in retargeting than sometimes it does in that initial introduction of the brand. Because at this point, the introduction, some people are like, I don't really care who you are and why you like it. I want to know what the product is. But as they are like, hey, I'm interested in this mattress, and then they say a video of somebody using the mattress and why they like this mattress over that mattress.
Oh, that person's like me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'll get that.
I look like this person, you know.
Which goes back to people just want to see themselves in the content.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
The organic and the ads, like people want to see themselves and their problems. And if you can address that, that's why face to the brand is important, is because people see themselves in other people.
Yep.
It's easier to see themselves in a brand when there's somebody they can relate to.
Well, and it's just easier to identify with a human than it is a product.
Correct.
Right. So if all you're doing is showing these pants or these shoes or a mattress or a bike, you know, it's like you don't identify with objects, you don't identify with logos. But if you see Trevor who's selling this bike and I'm constantly talking about how I use it and what I like to do and how I messed up a marketing campaign and how I can't wait to go on this trip, and I'm not constantly talking about the bike, or the shoes or whatever. I'm starting to identify with this guy that I relate to, and why wouldn't I buy? I know I can go buy this bike from 10 other brands, but I'm going to buy it from this guy.
Yeah.
Because I identify and I like him.
It's just a human instinct.
Think of the funnel more as a journey. Got to go identify what that journey is. You know, there are ways you can go do that. You know, there's third-party tools you can use.
And the journey is kind of like Frogger.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you might be jumping back. They might be jumping forward.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily driving them across the street in one full swoop. It's It's, hey, I just need to make sure I'm addressing concerns
totally
at each point.
Yes. I agree. Good TLDR.
Go play Frogger, kids. I mean, the Gen Zers probably have never even played Frogger. Poor guys.
Yeah, us millennials should have the journey down.
Yeah.
Because we're Frogger. I mean, Frogger, as a millennial for me, Frogger, like, was not, like, that was even quite, like, slightly before.
Yeah, it was just kind of maybe at the tail end.
Yeah, I played it.
Then the 64 came out, you know, and then...
Yeah, but Game Boy, I played it on my Game Boy. But then
It's like Pokemon, you know. You
But then
gotta
Sega, it was
sometimes you
more
gotta go
Sega.
back.
Like Sega came back. Sega came out before Nintendo 64.
The Genesis did come out.
Yeah.
Did you
And
play
that's
Pokemon?
on my Game Boy only?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Pokemon Red.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a Game Boy for Pokemon only.
Oh,
Yeah, I never played the card game Pokemon. I never collected cards. I never did any of that. But I
magical.
did love the
Pokemon Red and Blue.
Game Boy. Yeah,
That was incredible.
so good.
But guess what? Sometimes you got to go back to the town you left.
That's right.
That's a customer journey too.
That's right.
Customers go back and forth.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate everything you guys do for us, and we'll see you next week, next Tuesday.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.